Crime, ads, pop-ups, they suck. But we're just gonna try to power through it. Um, today's news story is when does discipline become childish? And I apologize for not posting a video in a while because I've been out of town and my computer has been acting up the entire time. And I forgot to post video last week. But this one you may have heard about. NFL star Adrian Peterson was charged with using a branch or a switch to spank his 4-year-old toddler. He never intended to harm him. He was using his judgment as a benefit of his son, uh, uh, according to a statement he tweeted. He was booked and released on a $15,000 bond on Saturday. Minnesota Vikings announced today, Monday, that he will be back on the field in 6 days. The team says it wants the legal process to take its course before making any final decisions on the running back's future. This is a perfect example of sometimes you take discipline a little bit too far. This is a perfect example of that. And again, this is a perfect example of when the justice system actually works. Because like most of the stories I do, the justice system never works. It just fails completely. It just completely falls apart. Um, uh, it was as interpreted by the Supreme Court of Canada. The court has held that any use of an object would be in and of itself it would be the criminal offense of assault, and the fines of so-called use of reasonable force for the purpose of correction is not a defense. In Canada, the Queen's Law professor said the Queen's Law Professor Nicholas Ballard. In Section 43 of Canada's Criminal Code reads, every school teacher, parent, or person standing in the place of a parent is justified in using force by way of correction towards a pupil or child, as the case may be, who is under his care, if the force does not exceed that of what is reasonable under the circumstances. University of Toronto psychology professor Gary Walters studies discipline and corporal punishment in children in child rearing and explains the line is crossed when visible bodily damage is done, and notes it can be a fuzzy line. It definitely can be a fuzzy line, yes, but like I just mentioned in Section 43 of Canada's Criminal Code, you can discipline a child. Just if you use excessive force, that's when it becomes a criminal offense. That's just my interpretation of it. It might be wrong, but I just interpret it as I see it. There are people who believe strongly that spanking is a form of physical abuse. Me, I'm not. If it leaves a handprint, I consider it physical abuse. But you can spank a child, the very person, and have a lot of bruising. It is true. And maybe a black and blue mark, and spank a child equally who has tougher skin, and may not have such a light complexion, and there could be no bruising. And one would probably be convicted, and the other wouldn't. So That is why he says the fuzzy line, because there are fair children that look at me, I'm but a sheep, and darker skinned children that who, if you beat them, they're not overmatched. But the fair skinned, you would spank them, and it would look like these people living the hell out of it. Um, but he continues to say, but of the different kinds of abuse, certainly physical abuse is probably the easiest for the courts and child protection people to discern, because it is physically obvious, whereas mental and sexual abuse are not so physically obvious. Um, though he allegedly left physical damage on his son's body, this is back to Adrian Peterson. Uh, though he allegedly left physical damage on his son's body, uh, Queen's Court professor of law, um, Nicholas Bala, suggested Pearson is less likely to be convicted in the United States, where there's a broader scope of parental discipline and more tolerance of corporal punishment in general. The north of the border here in Canada. And like I said, but there are many factors that can impact parenting in such a case. Whether they've otherwise been a good parent, have seriously child is injured, if the parent demonstrates an understanding and regret of the incident and participates in a parenting course, what all effectively welcomes. So if he agrees to go to this, he more or less gets off. In Peterson's case, there's the added layer of regulatory process imposed by the NFL, as him being Minnesota Vikings running back. This applies to many professional groups, including teachers, lawyers, and doctors. Bauer says there's so-called morals clause in professional athlete contracts that allows them to suspend or expel the person in question. And in doing so, his entire career is more or less dead at that point. And I apologize for interruptions there, but the pop-ups come up and my computer doesn't do anything about it. And the videos will be later. They'll probably be like on weekends now, simply because I'm in rugby and we have games probably on Monday, Wednesday, or Fridays, and we have practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, depending on the game schedule. So this is going to be until the season is over. So be expecting videos on the weekends instead of during the week. So, like I said, until next time, whenever that may be, um, subscribe, comment, give it a thumbs up, tell Google pluses and just get the really hot hands on this, and just remember, only you can report child abuse.